You're still watching Joy News today. I'm Daniel Dazi. We take you back to Winneba in the Central Region, where the Ministry of Health is launching a paperless system for healthcare delivery across the country. Mounting the podium now is Madam Akosia Frema Oseo Pare, who is the Chief of Staff.
The Honorable Minister of Health, the Municipal Chief Executive, Director General, Ghana Health Service, Chief Director, Ministry of Health, Medical Director of the Trauma and Specialist Hospital, Winneba, Regional Director, and all other directors duly recognized, the Paramount Chief of a Futu traditional area, Nei Gati the 7th, our development partners, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor for me to be here with you today to launch the nationwide rollout of the National eHealth project here in Winneba. I would like to recognize the hard work of the Regional Health Administration, the management of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and Lightweight eHealth Services during the first phase of this project. Distinguished guests, this project, as we have witnessed today, is an extremely bold initiative, which will not only transform our health facilities into modern and efficient centers of excellence, but will also go a long way in improving our data capture and storage capabilities at all levels of the health system in Ghana. I am naturally delighted at the prospects of better data for planning. I have also taken note of the immense benefits this project brings to patients and health workers alike, and the significant cost savings that will accrue to the health sector in the short to medium term. But above all, I'm sincerely pleased with the great emphasis on putting patients at the center of this innovative development. Distinguished guests, within the last 50 years, Ghana, like most countries in Africa, has made systematic progress at improving the health outcomes of our people. Child mortality has reduced. Some progress has been made in reducing maternal mortality, and life expectancy has risen, although it still remains below expectations. While these improvements have been very slow, they represent some progress in the face of widespread behavioral and environmental challenges and continuing epidemics. While communicable diseases remain the main drivers of mortality, there is a silent epidemic of non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and cancer, which are threatening the minimal gains we have made over the period. This double burden of diseases is gradually changing the demand for healthcare in Ghana and indeed on the African continent. The major challenge is that while we may have some idea of the burden of communicable diseases, we do not know the size of the problem when it comes to non-communicable diseases. This makes planning a futile action, as we are not able to make relevant decisions and how our resources should be allocated. The challenge is that data capture and use from the point of patient contact with the health system until he or she is discharged is woefully substandard, and this perhaps presents the missing link in most of all our efforts aimed at improving the performance of the health sector. Distinguished guests, strategic investments in information and communication technology provides opportunity to overcome other major challenges, both in assets, financing, and human resource, and in the provision of high-quality healthcare services at all levels of the care. It is very disturbing that with all the internet, broadband penetration, and exponential rise in the use of mobile telephones in Ghana, many children continue to die of vaccine-preventable diseases, malaria, and diseases that are treatable. Many mothers continue through childbirth with challenges and suffer from diseases that have long been eradicated in parts of the world. The challenge is not because we do not have the solutions to our health problems, but because we lack the resources to apply the tested and well-rehearsed interventions where it is needed in a sustained manner. In almost all instances, our ability to acquire and deploy the needed technology remains a formidable barrier. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one cannot deny the fact that our health infrastructure has improved tremendously over time. But one also cannot deny the fact that many communities remain without basic health services, even after massive investments in the CHIPS program. While innovation and creativity is needed to deal with these challenges, the major starting point is for us to adopt policies that will place premium on science and technology. Today, we in Ghana have decided to take the bold step of deploying technology to take on the challenges of universal health coverage and to achieve the health status we deserve as a country. We need to apply technology to generate the information required for the formulation of precise health policies to enable us to meet our needs. Policies that will help meet our financing needs and provide us with the opportunity to seek and provide basic services for those who are not being captured in the health system in its present state. Distinguished guests, I have had the opportunity of a preview of the system we are about to launch, and in fact, it's been enhanced today during this program, and I'm convinced, just like other directors have said, that it provides the opportunity to deliver a truly global and holistic approach to health services delivery by tackling the issue of documentation and allowing for greater collaboration and better management of our health insurance claims management system. Ghana's population is slowly aging with increased number of people with chronic diseases. Our society is also becoming progressively digitized. Recently, government gave its consent to the digital address system that makes it easy to access any location in Ghana. The Ghana eHealth project and the digital address system will make contact tracing easy and effective and provide the critical framework for a functional early warning system, which our disease surveillance system will use to track and control diseases of epidemic potential and thereby save us drudgery of fighting epidemics. Distinguished guests, digitizing the healthcare sector through eHealth solutions will not only modernize the healthcare in Ghana, but also increase our competitiveness in the area of medical tourism, and at the same time, create high-quality jobs across all levels of the health system. Ghana will also very soon become a reference point for facilitating access to diagnosis and treatment through the centralized knowledge and experience to be made available by the data repository that will create and that will be created and which will make available to medical research and training. Ladies and gentlemen, it makes good thinking for us as a country to seize the opportunity to create a health system where all systems in the health sector, be they service delivery, regulation, policy, are digitally connected, and where all citizens have access to high-quality healthcare and health data regardless of where they may be. It is for this reason that I call on all of us to play our various roles towards achieving the aim of this project by sharing our experiences and expertise and by playing our part to make eHealth reach its full potential to be to the benefit of all persons living in Ghana. We must, however, ensure that best practice policies and procedures are well established to encourage innovation and development. We need to promote the development of standards to guide training and help the integration and application of computing, information, and telecommunication technologies the systems offers. But above all, we must create the environment that will enhance our ability to extend services across geographically remote populations, thereby saving costs and increasing efficiency. On this note, Honorable Minister, directors in the health system and staff, Nananum, the media, invited guests, it is my pleasant duty to declare the nationwide rollout of the National eHealth and Early Warning System project duly launched. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Chief of Staff Akosia Fremoseo Parry there, giving her speech and launching the eHealth system there. Among other things, she mentioned a number of benefits that this new paperless system would bring to healthcare delivery in the country. Among others, she said that this can pair with the digital addressing system that has been launched by the Vice President so that we can have contact tracing and we can trace the source of diseases and try and quarantine areas where diseases break out before they become epidemic. So looks like this will be something that the healthcare delivery system would benefit from immensely. Now let's move from health and talk about education. because the Asare Municipal Assembly and the Education Directorate are taking steps to address the furniture concerns at a Parkoso Senior High School. A Joy News Agenda report earlier this week revealed students sit on the floor to write due to absence of desks. Following the broadcast, Municipal Chief Executive Ali Duseidu led a delegation to the school on a familiarization visit. He spoke with Love News' Prince Apia.
Though authorities admit the school has inadequate furniture, the debunk report students sit on the floor for lessons. Municipal Chief Executive Ali Duseidu suggests an unidentified teacher compelled students to sit on the floor for a video shoot to discredit the free SHS program.
Free SHS has come with us and has come to stay with us. As to whether or not, yours is to help the system grow and help the program get sustained. But for you to go and do this kind of stuff with malicious intent, nobody will allow you to go scot-free. Of course, as it is, first-hand information has been given to us. We will also go and digest and look into all the issues that we've been given. Then we report to the appropriate quarters for actions to be taken. If it demands sanction people just to make sure that we bring sanity into the system, that will be done. They gave us about 3 names. 3 names are there, and we put before the authorities 3 names. We will conduct our own investigations to establish whether the report we had from the students is a true reflection, and we take appropriate action.
Meanwhile, Love News observed in some of the classes, 2 students had to share a desk meant for one, as the Joy News Agenda report had captured.
We were in the class learning when our madam entered and told us that we should sit properly because there are some visitors who are coming inside the class to see something. So when we sat properly for them to enter, when they entered, they asked of how we were sitting, and we said we sat in pairs, and they said okay, those who didn't have chairs, they should go to the back and sit down so that they can take pictures of them.
The student explained the discomfort the current situation comes with.
We don't feel comfortable. It disturbs our learning and teaching.
Ali Duseidu tells Love News the assembly has procured furniture, but is yet to be delivered to the school.
Once we admitted that there was a challenge, we were finding ways, trying to find a way of solving the problems. And one of it, last week for instance, I met the education director. We've put in a request. 1, to the Ministry of Education. Second one, the Assembly itself is procuring some of the furnitures. Last week, we started with the procurement processes. About 2 different people have put in their invoices and all that. We still want to get about 4. 2 are there. 2 will be coming maybe today, later today or tomorrow morning. Then we start with the process. Latest, within short time, we are getting them. Apart from this one, the Ministry of Education has also alerted us that they are also in the process of serving us with chairs also.
Prince Apia reporting.
Now moving on, as a fresh wave of violent crimes hits the nation, one cannot help but consider personal security by getting a guard dog or even buying a gun. Security expert Adib Sani is of the view that a citizen's mistrust in security agencies may lead them to employing such means to keep themselves safe, which in turn means firearms are likely to proliferate. But Mr. Sani believes these weapons increase in number will not pose a danger to citizens if they are properly regulated by authorities. He advises that government licenses the manufacturers of these local weapons in order to properly regulate their activities. And he joins me in the studio to tell me more about this plan of his. Mr. Sani, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So, first of all, we've been reporting, yesterday alone we reported of 2 of such violent crimes in Kaswa and Amasaman. Is it a problem that is worth looking at, or is it just a flash in the pan?
Well, it's a problem. Unfortunately, for years on end, we seem to have turned a blind eye to the issue of gun violence in the country. And when you take a closer look at the Arms and Ammunition Act 1972, National Redemption Council Decree 9, it's very categorical about the processes to go by in acquiring a weapon. Unfortunately, it is silent on the locally manufactured weapons in the system, because perhaps at that time it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. And it goes without saying that according to police records, over 90% of weapons retrieved at crime scenes are locally manufactured. And there seems to be a massive proliferation of locally manufactured weapons that is being used to perpetrate violence all across the country. And I think it is time we took a closer look at it and possibly bite the bullets.
Now, in some jurisdictions like the UK, even the police don't use guns. And I mean regular officers walking on the streets, and guns are, some are advocating that guns are banned in places like the USA, but you are saying that we should accept local weapon manufacturers and register them. Why?
Okay, well, it depends on the setting. You cannot compare our system with that of the UK. Okay, for example, in the US, where the Second Amendment is very emphatic about the ownership of guns, and that has made it possible for there to be about 400 million guns in the hands of private people in the US, resulting in the deaths of about 12,000 people annually because of gun violence. That means about 4 9/11s in the US alone because of gun violence. In Japan, which is one of the countries it is most difficult to obtain a gun, in 2015, there was only 1 death as a result of gun violence. But that notwithstanding, they have their different systems, okay? And in Ghana, we have a different system altogether. And the fact still remains, there's a fledgling local gun manufacturing industry in the country. Indeed, when you even go to the hinterlands, it's very common. Okay, recently I spoke with a doctor friend of mine who said he performed a surgery on a victim of gun violence. Immediately after he came out of the theater, he whispered into the doctor's ears, "If you need some guns, I have some guns too." So the threat is
the victim.
The victim, just immediately after the operating theater, told the doctor he has some guns for sale. So the doctor called him in front of me. I mean, they spoke, and he asked him how they get the weapons, and they said they manufacture it right here in Ghana. But we have consistently turned a blind eye to it. And let me also add that Section 10, subsection 1 of the Arms and Ammunition Act is very categorical about the fact that the IGP is supposed to have a central register of all registered guns in the country. But that is not the case.
But should it not be that the police should crack down on the manufacturers of these weapons, get them out of the system, rather than accepting them and registering them?
No, I think it can go hand in hand. We can crack down on it, but I think it's high time, like I indicated, we bit the bullet. We look at ways we can regularize their activities. By regularizing it, we should be able to keep track of the guns they produce, and we should be able to get them to imprint serial numbers on them so we can easily track. We should also at the same time be able to track all those who come for those weapons, knowing full well that before you come for those weapons, like is enshrined in the law, you have to first of all get a permit which is valid for 6 months, after which you can renew. Then the permit gives you the opportunity to buy the gun from a registered supplier. Okay, after buying it, then you license it. So by getting the manufacturers, we should be able to solve the problem at the headquarters. And what is the headquarters? Those who manufacture it. So by regulating their activities, we should be able to, as it were, track.
But that will not stop people from still manufacturing guns without registering illegally.
No, by doing it, we should be able to bring them under one umbrella. Okay, by bringing them under one umbrella, we should be able to get them cooperate with law enforcement agencies all across the country. And those who are not regularized would be nipped in the bud. And you can only do that with the support of people on the ground, because these elements are in those communities, and we don't work with those communities and think we can move from Accra all the way to the hinterlands and get them. We must be deceiving ourselves.
Finally, why do you think it's important for us to have this conversation in the face of these crimes that we've been reporting in places like Kwadwo and Amasaman?
Because we have always thought our biggest threat is guns from other parts of the continent coming into the country. Indeed, it is happening, but the majority of the threat is in the local gun manufacturing industry in Ghana. And because of the access access, the easy access to these guns is giving people the motivation, the impetus, and it's making them even more daring and more audacious in carrying out their criminal activities. We all know what happened at Circle and what happened at La Paz with the shooting of the police officer. What did they use? They locally manufactured gun. So I think it's important we re-look at the issue of local gun manufacturing industry in Ghana rather than turn a blind eye to it.
Thank you very much, Adib Sani, for your time. He's a security expert with some interesting ideas. Now, moving on, teachers, parents, and pupils of Tigbo Jeffrey in the Jirapa district of the northern region, or the Upper West region, forgive me, can now heave a sigh of relief following a donation to them of a 3-unit classroom block with ancillary by Total Petroleum Ghana Limited. The value of the classroom block with the ancillary facilities is valued at 400,000 Ghana cedis. Hitherto that, the pupils were crammed and packed like sardines, as some would say, and a small room fit for use, as some describe as a pen for animals. At a short ceremony held at Tigbo to commission and hand over the magnificent facility to the communities, Managing Director of Total Petroleum Ghana Limited, Eric Fancini, said the donation is to complement government efforts in eradicating schools under trees in the country. Joy News' Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Tigbo in the Jirapa district.
Make no mistake, this is not a pen for sheep, neither is it a structure built with mud for storage of farm crops, but rather it is a classroom for pupils of Tigbo and Jeffrey in the Jirapa district of the Upper West region. 90 pupils, including visitors, are packed in this small room filled with 18 dual decks. The actual number of pupils in the class is 65, but the number sometimes increased to about 90 during recreational periods when food from the Ghana School Feeding Program are served. There is no working space for the necessary instructor, thereby making class control and supervision difficult. The school is also situated close to the dusty Jiraba Sigri Road. Classes are distracted with the noise of vehicles passing and the dust also generated from their movement. However, all will not be a thing of the past, as petroleum company Total Petroleum Ghana Limited constructed for them a 3-unit classroom block with ancillary facilities at a cost of 400,000 Ghana cedis. Managing Director of Total Petroleum Ghana Limited, Eric Fancini, at a source ceremony to commission and hand over the facility to the Tigbo Jeffrey communities, stated that the donation is to complement government efforts in its bid to eradicate schools under trees.
Education is a vital instrument in the development of every society. Indeed, a shared responsibility, and Total Ghana deems it a great honor to have received such a high level of cooperation in making this dream reality. The beautiful edifice you see before you comes fully furnished. Comfortable desk in each classroom to sit pupils, well-furnished staff common rooms, and headmistress office. External features also include a playground for recreation, a well-demarked key VIP, an urinal facility, and on top of it all, a mechanized borehole to supply potable drinking water to both school and community. We are confident in future collaboration on similar projects, and even more confident in the fact that the new block will improve learning and administration of the school whilst enhancing capacity for enrollment and education.
Eric Fancini disclosed that Total Petroleum Ghana Limited has been operating in Ghana for the past 60 years and has gone beyond retailing of its products and services to providing social services to the people.
Here in the Upper West, our network of service stations has increased to 12 as customers continue to make us their preferred choice for fuel, lubricants, and other services. But retailing of these products and services is not all that we do. In our bid to give back to the society, several initiatives have also been born out of our main areas of social responsibility. These include road safety campaigns, health and education sponsorships and programs, all of which is integral to our existence here in Ghana.
Jiriba District Chief Executive Christian Bombanya Amadou noted that education is the lifeway and cornerstone of every district and the nation at large, and was therefore excited about a move for Total Petroleum Ghana Limited to complement government to bring education to the doorstep of the people.
This project will contribute to the already existing educational policies, such as the Ghana School Feeding Program, the recently launched Free Senior High School policy, just to mention but a few. One major issue worthy of mentioning is the maintenance of this project. I wish, therefore, to assure Total Ghana of the commitment of the District Assembly to maintain this structure so that the intended purpose will be achieved. While at the same time, we urge the community members of Tigboro and Jeffrey to send their children to school. Indeed, it is only when parents send their children to school that we will reap the full benefit of this beautiful edifice.
Authorities of the school and community members said they are lost of words and can only thank Total Petroleum Ghana Limited for coming to their aid.
I'm very, very happy and excited for getting this good, this nice building from Total people. I'm very, very happy because the people were sitting under trees, and now that we've had this building, I know quality education they are talking about, teaching and learning, will be very good.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Tigboro.
Now moving on, women have over the years been thought to be laid back and less adventurous, but that has changed, albeit at a slower pace. In the following report, Amak Krampa tells the story of Elizabeth Dochi, a 35-year-old auto sprayer carving a niche for herself in a male-dominated occupation.
For some reasons, our society has assigned certain jobs to the sexes, such that some jobs are assumed to be suitable for women and others for men. One of such jobs is auto spraying. It has been a male-dominated area for many years, but the situation is changing. Elizabeth is an auto sprayer here at Jolu in Accra. She's been doing this job for some years now.
I'm here for 3 years. After that,
I've been learning on this job for 3 years. After my apprenticeship, I worked with a Lebanese for 2 years. Then I established my own shop.
She chose this job although her father wanted her to learn another trade, and even though some people tried to discourage her.
My father had earlier wanted me to take apprenticeship in batik, tie and dye, but somehow I managed to convince him to allow me to learn the spraying profession. People have also tried to discourage me and even went to the extent of using scary myths. They said I won't be able to continue with the job after childbirth, but that was never the case. In the same job, I've gotten married and had 2 children now. I even worked when I was heavily pregnant.
Elizabeth is proud of herself. She is happy that people have accepted that women can also do such jobs. With every car which pulls in and out of her spraying garage, it deepens her desire to inspire other young women to chase their own dreams.
Because
it is indeed a profitable venture. Whenever I step out in my overall or introduce myself as a sprayer, I realize the immediate climb in respect. That makes me proud of myself and my achievements. So I would encourage young ladies who have the passion to be in any male-dominated profession to pursue their dreams and never give up, because they too can do it.
Technical side, spraying, welding, fitting, Fine.
Elizabeth is just one of several women who are determined to excel in every endeavor, regardless of limitations society puts in their way. Elizabeth is not just changing the color of vehicles. She is changing and shaping long-held societal views. I'm a Krampa reporting for Joy News.
Certainly a brave woman there. Now, it's been more than 72 hours since the passing of our colleague here at Multimedia, Kwadwo Asare Baffour Champong Kaba. Hundreds have thronged to the premises of a Multimedia Group Limited to sign the book of condolences we have opened on his behalf. We spoke to some of these persons.
I think memories, great memories, fond memories. I think that Kaba stood for excellence, no doubt about that. He went the extra mile. Kaba was the person who, although his show was in the afternoon, will come in early in the morning, you know, gather information, interact with people. That's what I knew Kwadwo for. Very humble guy, brilliant by all standards, and outstanding in his field. So for me, that is a memory that I want to, you know, have with me.
Any particular?
Even though he's gone, I think that his sense of enthusiasm, of humanity, of excellence is all that we all should, you know, emulate and hold in high esteem. He represented a full-scale, you know, personality, and we can only but wish him well, and of course, rest in perfect peace.
Kaba, he is indeed a professional when it comes to his work, and he ensures he delivers and delivers well. To the family, God give them or grant them the patience that they need. They should know that God knows best, even though we all understand and we all know that death is very painful. But God, in his own wisdom, knows what he's doing, and the same God is going to grant them the heart to accommodate everything that is going on, to his wife especially, and his daughter. Anytime Kaba speaks, or anytime we are engaging in an unprofessional discussion, the first thing he talks about is his daughter and his wife. May God grant her the biggest heart, because it's not easy to lose a father at this age.
People like Kaba, who bring us interviews and stories through talking to others, again, also occupy a space that we cannot ignore. And in his case, we find him as a very fine journalist, somebody whose programs always try to bring balance, and also entertainment. I think we will miss him, because to get people to elicit the kind of opinions that he brought to our airwaves on a daily basis is not going to be easy for either Joy FM or for us, the listeners, to have. I personally will miss him, because most of the time between 2 and 4 I'm on the road, and that's what I use to entertain myself when I'm driving alone. I really will miss him. I think he was a very good journalist.
Thank you very much.
We will continue our conversation in area on the death, and should I say the murder of Captain Adam Maxwell Mahama. Now the latest development in the Abreu Nipa Yachichum no do no asa beka home.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going. We know within.
Certainly a difficult man to forget there. It's now time for business with Emmanuel Abwajiafe.